Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from first group. We'll tell you about psycholinguistics and neurolinguistics. And me, as the first speaker will tell you about the definition of psycholinguistics and neurolinguistics. And the second speaker, Trisnanda Ade Indah, will tell you about the difference between psycholinguistics and neurolinguistics. And the third speaker, Afifa Mufidati, will tell you about the connection between psycholinguistics and neurolinguistics. Okay, guys, here I will explain you a little about the definition of psycholinguistics and neurolinguistics. For the first, psycholinguistics. Psycholinguistics is study of the interrelation between linguistics factors and psychological aspects. Psycholinguistics is concerned with psychological and neurobiological factors that enable humans to acquire, use, comprehend, and produce. Nah, here di sini psycholinguistics itu berkaitan antara faktor psikologis dan neurobiological yang memungkinkan manusia untuk memperoleh, untuk menggunakan, dan untuk memahami serta menghasilkan bahasa itu sendiri. So, linguistics covers the cognitive process that make it possible to generate a grammatical and meaningful sentence out of vocabulary and grammatical structures, as well the process that make it possible to understand utterance, words, text, and etc. Nah, di sini berdasarkan dengan proses kognitifnya, psikolinguistik itu akan memungkinkan untuk menghasilkan kalimat yang telah tersusun serta bermakna. Jadi kalimat yang tersusun dari sebuah kosakata itu telah diproses sebagaimana mestinya untuk kemudian dihasilkan, lalu kita dapat memahami kalimat tersebut atau ucapan tersebut secara kata-kata maupun secara tulisan. Nah, biasanya psikolinguistics ini juga mempelajari kemampuan anak-anak untuk belajar berbahasa atau berkomunikasi. As like Memega said in the video, that anak kecil itu biasanya memulai bahasanya dengan kata-kata yang singkat atau kata-kata yang mungkin menurut mereka itu mudah, it's like baba, it's like that, it's like mama, it's like that. Nah, dari situ kita akan terus memproses sebuah kalimat sehingga nantinya akan menjadi bahasa yang kita gunakan di dalam keseharian kita. Next, this is the definition of psycholinguistics. Now, the definition about neurolinguistics. Neurolinguistics is the study of the neural mechanism in the human brain, how language is represented in the brain. That is how and where our brain store our knowledge of language that we speak, understand, read, and write. Nah, di sini neurolinguistics itu adalah studi yang mempelajari bagaimana cara saraf di otak manusia itu memperoleh bahasa. Dan di sini di mana dan bagaimanakah otak kita itu memperoleh pengetahuan bahasa yang nantinya akan kita bicarakan, yang kita akan memahami dan akan kita tulis serta akan kita baca. Nah, di sini berarti neurolinguistics ini studi yang pelajari tentang saraf dan cara kerja bahasa di otak manusia itu sendiri. Nanti kita akan mengetahui di pembahasan in the last discussion, my friends Afifa Mufidati will tell you a little about how our brain produce the language itself. And in human brain that control the comprehension, production, and acquisition of language. Jadi saraf manusia itu akan mengontrol pemahaman dan produksi serta penguasaan bahasa. Jadi di otak manusia itu nantinya akan mengontrol apa saja yang akan kita ucapkan kepada orang lain begitu. Nantinya akan pelajari tentang syaraf yang ada di otak manusia itu yang disebut dengan neurolinguistics. Okay, thank you for my explanation. And next, my friend Trisnanda Ade Indah will tell you about the difference between psycholinguistics and neurolinguistics.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Trisnanda Adinda Eka Tantiasari. NIM 2017-6069. I'm from the first group. So here I'm gonna try to explain to you what is the difference between psycholinguistics and neurolinguistics. As we know that psycholinguistics is combination between two words, psychology and linguistics. Of course, in psycholinguistics we will learn about two of them, the psycholinguistics and the linguistic and the psychology. What the relation between two of them. And also we will learn about how we comprehend the language, how we product the language, while the neurolinguistics is a science concerned with the human brain mechanism underlying the comprehension, production, and abstract knowledge of language, be it spoken, signed, or written. When in psycholinguistics, we will learn about psychology and linguistics. In neurolinguistics, we will learn about mechanism of brain and linguistics. So, what will happen to our brain when we acquire that knowledge? That knowledge means linguistics. And what will happen to our brain when we use it in everyday lives? Also, in psycholinguistics, covers the cognitive process that make it possible to generate a grammar, the structure of the sentence, or the language that we will use to communication with other. In neurolinguistics, the other different definition between psycholinguistic and neurolinguistic is neurolinguistic, the branch of linguistics that explores how the brain encodes language, and psycholinguistics is psychology of language acquisition and use. The study of language acquisition and use in relation to the psychological factors controlling its use and recognition. Actually, both of them is the part of the linguistics, but what make two of them different is in psycholinguistic we will focus on psychology, but in neurolinguistic we will focus on the mechanism of brain. What will happen to our brain when we comprehend the language? Yeah, maybe that's all from me. I'm very, very sorry if my explanation was bad. You can ask me if you don't understand about my explanation. I will try to answer. Okay, thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So, hello guys. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afifah Amfidati. My serial number is T2017 60 and 94. So, come to part 3. I will explain you about the connection between psycholinguistic and neurolinguistic. Linguistic is actually a branch of psycholinguistic itself. So, in the scope of psycholinguistic presented by Maminga, she's telling us that neurolinguistic is include part of psycholinguistic. Neurolinguistics is branch of psycholinguistics itself. So back to the scope of the linguistic, Mameka told us that neurolinguistics is branch of psycholinguistics. Yes, it's true. So it talks about how language is present in human brain. So the part of brain that include linguistic skill is left hemisphere. So you can see on the PowerPoint that left hemisphere has the speech, language, and comprehension function. It's different to the right hemisphere. Right hemisphere have the function of sensory stimulus, move control, creativity, special ability, context, and others. So basically, left hemisphere is usability for analytical, and for the right hemisphere is actually learn about design creative. So just like that. And let's check out neurology is actually part of the brain, and actually brain has as the processor used to identify language in input, then processing by part of the brain, especially left hemisphere itself. So when we hear or write, when we hear or write or we see words or we hear a sound, actually it comes to our brain, and our brain is processed to identify it, whether it is what is the meaning or what is the message of that language itself. So in detail, left hemisphere has part. So the part include first broadcast area, then the name is anterior speech cortex or control and the function is to control syntax. Wernicke's area, posterior speech cortex, to control semantics, motor cortex, movement muscle, hands, feel, ADC. It also involved in the physical articulation of speech, such as like gesture. When we speak, actually there are some people that use their hands or their head to speak out about the body language itself. So it is basically the part of the motor cortex function. And then come to the arcuate fasciculus is a bundle of nerve. So it actually connect Wernicke's and Broca's area and other areas. Next. And how human brain process language, as I told you before, that when we hear a song, you can see in the PPT that input the voice came to our ear, whether it left or right ear, and then respond by the temporal lobe and the primary audio cortex. Nah, you can see the Wernicke's, Broca's, frontal lobe, and temporal lobe area. When we hear a sound, that part are worked and processing to identify the sound itself. And then so in the temporal lobe, they actually receive, guesses, and processes how the sound worked. So like that, and send to Wernicke's area. Then it's sent to Wernicke's area to identify it, what is that language, what is the sound meaning. So now come to the next step. There are interpreted in this area sounds broken down into syllables, word passes, clauses, and finally the sentence. When I talk to my friend and I say that Don't open the window, please. When I told her that don't open the window, their brain is actually process and make the sentence into a pieces of language. They have to identify what is the phoneme, what is the syllables, what is the syntax, like that. And then voice and next step, voice information understood. So the voice understood, and then come to the next process, and then she actually know and understand what I mean, like that. And then memory, no need for verbal response. So memory. So it being saved to our memory, and then broadcast area need verbal response. So whether you can answer, whether my friend can answer by answering yes or anything else, it's up to her to respond my sentence, like that. Example, the word die consists of D-I-E. The process deciding the virtues of the phoneme D, then motor cortex attaches the tip of the language regional alveolar to the sound D. They are all coordinate, so neat and accurate. The goal is to make sure the sound is D, not T or Thai, means accuracy. So to me that the word die, it can be misunderstood to word Thai if my brain is not fully worked, such as when my friends talk to me when I was doing something, just when I was doing, so just when I was close the door, and I don't actually listen to her voice fully. So if my brain doesn't work, it can be means that I say that I hear the sounds of Thai, not die. It's just like that. So our brain is actually doing a fully worked or interpreted all of the sound in order to make to how to make difference between syllable or that has the same sound, like that. So our brain is actually has function and completely do the function well. And then the last, the connection between brain and language is words and the brain. Human brain structure is the fundamental basis of the relationship between language and the brain. So basically, our brain is actually the processor of the word itself. Without our brain, any words or any sound, we can identify them. We can know what is the meaning. We can understood what is the meaning of the sentence of the language itself. So brain is the fundamental basis to our understanding to some sentence, like that. And you can see in the PPT about the area. Okay guys, that's all our explanation. We are very sorry if our explanation is not clear enough, and if there are some mistake, we are very sorry. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let's discuss together.